Hey everybody, I'm Bob Bakert with Jazz Guitar Today, and we're here with Pasquale Grasso, and we've been putting our technical side of this thing together for the last 5 minutes, so we're good now. So how are you?
I'm great. I'm doing good. Yeah,
You
everything
are you
is.
are doing good. I've been watching a lot of your video, and
Hmm.
listening to your tracks, your new record. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. And the one thing that just jumps out at me with your playing is you're so smooth. It's really noticeably smooth. Is that something that you're aware of, or you just do it?
I think it's just the way I always felt music. I never wanted anything in between me, what I'm thinking, and the guitar. So I want me and the guitar to be uh, to be one thing only. Like when I talk, when I talk is not as smooth as when I play, but it's only because I practice more the guitar than my speeches. So.
I understand. Well, you speak very good English. So then the other thing, let's talk about this a little bit. Your technique. We'll talk about
Yeah.
technique a little bit. It's almost um, there's a little bit of neoclassicism in it, if you will. You play with counterpoint. You play a lot of chord melody work. Obviously, you've got a bunch of that. Great stuff. Very, as we like to say, pianistic. I mean, it's a very piano. I know you're a big Bud Powell guy, and
Yeah, definitely. The three swing. Let's say the three of my favorite piano players since I was 3 or 4 years old have been Bud Powell, Alma Hop, and Thelonious Monk. They were
Mhm.
my friends. I consider them my friends. Since I'm and so I was always into the piano side. I was never into saxophone or guitar players. I loved the early guitar players. I always loved Charlie Christian and Oscar Moore and Tiny Grimes and Wes Montgomery. All of them. They're great. Barney Castle, Kenny Burrell. I love them all. But I think I didn't grow up with a lot of jazz guitar records because growing up with my brother that is 2 years older than me and is a great saxophone player. He loved Don Byas and Charlie Parker and especially Bird. So we would always listen to the 40s and 50s records when we were kids. And so we grew up with Bird, Dizzy, Don Byas, Lucky Thompson, and Thelonious Monk, Teddy Wilson. So that's the music that we had home. I say we because I can't tell the story without saying anything about my brother because he's the guy that started to play music and to play saxophone. And I remember me being 4 years old and I said, wow, that's so cool that Luigi is playing saxophone. So I told my dad, I said, like, can we go to the store, I want to play something. and my and my dad is like, of course you want, it's like I was waiting for you to tell me that you wanted to go to the store. So we go to the store, and my dad was really into trumpet player. He always loved trumpet, and so we always have Chet Baker and Dizzy Gillespie, Roy Eldridge home, Charlie Shaver, and he wanted me to play trumpet. And it's like, if you play trumpet, it's gonna be easy to carry around. And I was like, no, I don't like that. I like trumpet, but I like the guitar. I want to bring the guitar. And my dad is like, that's gonna be, you have to bring the amp and you have to bring the guitar. It's a whole thing. If you learn piano, flute, or trumpet, it'd be easy for you to just go around, and play gigs. And I was like, no, I like the guitar. I want the guitar. There was some connection between me and the guitar, I think. And and as soon as I start, my dad got it to me. He said, "If I get this for you, my dad and my mom," I said, "You have to promise that you every day you practice 3 4 hours of the guitar." And I
Wow.
said, "Yeah," and I said, "Okay." And then once I start learning melodies like Twinkle 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 Little Star, and that kind of stuff, I really enjoy it. It was a game for me, because it was a game between me and my brother, and so we would play together and practice together. So instead of go out and play some soccer in Italy, we would just get together and play music, every day. Yeah.
Was your dad a musician?
No, my dad is a mechanic, and my mom is a nurse. and basically they both love music so much, you know, but
Right.
they never had the opportunity to do it because my dad had to help his dad hardware store,
Right.
so he got into that, and my mom grew up with other dads, so she had to help my grandmother with the farm. They had a little farm for family farm, and so she grew up. They both grew up in the south of Italy in a little town where people don't really know what jazz is. But fortunately, my dad had part of his family lived in America and in Canada. So when he was 17, 18, he came here to work for 6 months, and he got all those jazz records, you know, and he brought it back to Italy, and we had it there, you know. So he would play those every day because he liked it. And my mom she always liked classical music, you know, and so they didn't push us to do anything. The music was always around in our house, you know. We didn't. I didn't grow up. My family was you know, lower middle class. They didn't have too much money, you know. It was a normal family, but you know, my dad, I remember my dad working like 12, 13, 14 hours a day, you know, and to make to be able to live, you know. It was a weird time in Italy too, because in the south there was no job, so everybody was migrating to the north of Italy. At some point my dad went to the north of Italy, and me and my brother followed him with my mom to go to college, because I always wanted to go to this conservatory to study classical guitar, because I was playing with I had two teachers. One was Agostino Di Giorgio, that is a guitar player from New York that lived in Italy, moved to Italy when I was a kid, and the second one after Agostino was Barry Harris. So you know, it was first a guitar player, but then the way that Agostino, my guitar teacher, was teaching, it was the method that Barry used. So I was always, he knew that I like piano players, so he showed me all the things that Barry told me. And I was a little kid, you know, 8, 9 years ago, 8, 9 years old. And my teacher is like, okay, this is a solo. You learn this for next time. And we were very fortunate because both me and my brother, we have perfect pitch, you know. So it was really hard for us to just, you know, like once we learned the note, we heard something, we could do it. We could just play on the instrument if we knew where the notes were. So my mom is like, I think you guys have good ears. She didn't know that, you know. But then I remember when I was 12, 13, we were listening to Artatum, and me and my brother, we were fighting about chords. If it was a F sharp or a G natural in that chord, you know. Listen to Artatum and say, what chord is that? Well, how many notes is that? Let's try to. And we would get close, you know. Sometimes it's hard to get 10 notes, but as I said, you know, it was a game between us, and we were pushing each other, and you know, I would come for him, and my brother was like, you know, when you're a kid but we love each other so much, but when you're a kid, you have things in mind, and you're like, no, that's not F major, that's F major 7, that's a, you know, we would like, we really cared about music so much that we would fight with each other. So now Bert played B flat 7 there, not E flat, that's a B flat 7. It was really fun, you know, it's fun. Yeah.
What is striking me is let me see, you were born in 1988.
Mm-hmm.
So are you 33 or 34?
33.
33. Okay, you're 33 years old. And so you were doing this in the 90s.
Yeah.
That surprises. And not, I mean, it makes sense and all that, but it surprises me because your parents, I mean, your dad was listening to that music. You know, I mean, I'm thinking about all the music that was going on in the 90s.
Oh yeah, we did. Actually, I didn't know any of that. I never grew up with rock and roll, you know, or rock
Right.
music or heavy metal. It was just, it didn't get me. My dad would play stuff like he had. I remember he had the vinyl of James Brown and another one of James Taylor. And
Yeah.
he would put, and the one I liked was George Benson. That was my first love. Was
You have good
George
taste.
Yeah, and I liked his pop stuff. He had a vinyl where I remember the cover is him with a green T-shirt,
Right.
and he plays all the pop stuff. But his guitar playing was so great. I was in love with George. You know, I was 3 years old, and I hear this guitar player playing, you know, his butt off on the guitar. I'm like, ah.
And then, you know, Barry Harris, I mean, that's pretty highbrow stuff.
Yeah, of
You know,
course.
that's not for, you know, for small dogs and children. I mean, that's the real deal, you know.
Yeah, and also it was very intense because you know, me and my brother, we had to go to school, and I remember that every weekend my dad would bring us to Rome. So he would drive 4 hours to get us to do this lesson with Agostino that he lived in Rome. So we had to get in the car after school, you know, after 7 hours of school, get in the car, drive 4 hours, and then do the lesson. That would last for like 4 hours, so we could practice for 2 weeks, you know, for 1 week and go back to him. And for Barry was even more insane because we would have to take a week off from school and just go and do this week workshop with Barry that would start at 9 in the morning and would finish at midnight. You know.
Now, where was that physically?
It depended. It was the first one that me and my brother did was in Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
And then they used to do it there once a year, and then once a year in Rome, once a year in Spain, once a year in London. So let's say that Barry used to come to Europe like 4 times a year.
And did you go to all four of those? You know?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Barry was the sound. When I heard him the first time, it was like hearing, Bud and Monk like in your face. You're like, this is how it's, that's how it's supposed to sound. I only heard the stuff like, on CDs. And when I heard Barry, I remember the first song he played was "I Want to Be Happy," and it was small. It was so fast, and it was on. And I looked at my brother. I said, "Oh yeah, we're in the right place now."
Oh my God! So how many
Yeah.
years? How many years did you do that?
Well, I know Barry since I was 8, and I still used to go to class here in New York. So
Yeah.
still, and I have actually I can show you. Last time I was home, I brought. Those are all the CDs from all the masters. Actually, those are DVD. Every CD of this one has like 4-5 different master class, and it's fun. It's funny now to hear this because I can hear myself when I'm 10 years old try to play guitar, and Barry gets mad at me because I can't. I remember one CD was like I told Barry I can't really do that on the guitar, and Barry I remember his look at me that said like, never said that to me, never said that you can't do something, just tell me that you're gonna find a way. And I was like,
Oh man,
okay.
that's mind-boggling. That's so. Play us something that you would that would be derivative of something that Barry taught you. In other words, like, you don't play a whole song, just play a couple of bars or something, like an example of what we're talking about.
Well, there's so many things about Barry that I was doing one this morning with the diminished scale that goes like that. That you can use on, I don't know, G minor to C7 to F major. So you can play, and then you play. Something that you use all the time,
Sure. But let me point out something, that your technique, you're using a pick and your fingers.
Yeah.
When you're playing, and doing it is as good as I've seen anybody ever.
Chuck Wayne, a lot of musicians did that after the 50s because they realized that you can get different sounds with the guitar if you play with your fingernails.
Oh, yeah.
Classical guitar. So if you hear, Johnny Smith and all those guys from Barney Castle, sometimes they play stuff with the finger, but you can hear that they don't come from that background.
Are you using the meat, or are you using a nail? Are you using the meat of your finger, or are you using the actual nail?
Well, since I play a lot, I built my own fake nails, let's say, with just like when you go to the saloon, but you have to shape it in a certain way. I don't know if you can look at it.
They can't see it. We got pull them back a little. There you go. That's better.
So, but they're not long. I don't like long nails.
No.
Because long nails, they have very bright sound, and I like the warm sound that comes from the flesh of the
Right.
finger. And since I studied classical, I didn't want to lose the pick because the pick is something really percussive, and that's the way that reminds me of a piano. When you
Yeah.
so I don't like to play a single line with two fingers. So I know it's a little harder, like to
Yeah, you're very
uh,
fluid with it. You're
to have your pinky that works like
right.
a normal finger. Even if you want to do something like that, you have to
Right.
work a lot. You have to work a lot because it's the same tendon. So it needs a little more attention, and a lot of practice. But I think once you get it, and then you have one technique in your hand, that's better for me. So I don't have to switch. I don't have to change the sound, and the
Right.
position of the hand. So for me, it was always easy just to have one.
Well, you know what's so cool about about your playing and who you are and what you kind of what you push, um, or how you're pushing the music forward, is you technically are very proficient technically, but when you listen to you play, like Smoke Gets in Your Eyes or any of the ballads that you play, I mean, you're very lyrical and very emotive in your playing. So you do a beautiful job of taking the technical end of it, but using it in a musical way. A lot of guys get kind of caught up in the technique, they get caught up in that, and they're wonderful technicians, but
Yeah.
they don't tell a story at all. All the good guys tell stories, and you certainly do tell
Well,
stories.
I grew up, as I said, with Louis Armstrong and Billie Holiday,
Right.
and for some reason my parents were very, very intuitive about that because we didn't really have, a classic teacher when we were kids. It
Right.
was just my mom got a book and she learned how to read music, and she taught me and my brother how to read music.
Wow.
And they're both very, very smart and very fast-minded people, and so my mom is like, I know that there's nobody here, so I'm gonna learn and teach them. And she just got a book every day. She would read and teach us. It was amazing. I mean,
Let's talk a little bit about kind of what you're currently doing. You moved obviously from Italy quite a while ago. You've been in New York City doing your thing. You want to talk about that, just that whole scene and how life has
yeah.
been? And
It's been really good because I feel like I was in a cage in Italy.
Mhm.
And I didn't. The only person that I could share my passion was my brother. Thank God, that we
Yeah.
worked together. And there were some great musicians in Italy, but the problem in Europe is that everybody's so far, and there's no gig. You get to play once, twice a month, and you have to drive for 6, 7 hours to play a gig. You don't have time to, play together every day. In New York,
Right.
when I got to New York, I realized that wherever I wanted to do, that was the right place to do it because I always dreamed about having a band that I could jam every day, a bass player that I would get, and a drummer that I could play, that I could know like from the first beat to the last beat to be together,
Mhm.
and to learn how to do that with different musicians because in New York there's everybody's so good, you have the and you can and it is in the city just inspire you to get better because firstly if you just stay where you are they're gonna steal your gigs because people here they just go, they practice, they say, oh, I need to make money to pay rent, so you have to always look ahead and say, I'm all, what am I gonna do, okay, let's keep this, let's not stop, I don't like that. Also, every recording that I like, from Boad or Bird, they more years they pass, more they sound great, more they sound better and better and better, and it's something new. Like that's why I like so much about Powell because I think Bird. I have a Bird. I always thought that it was my grandfather. That when you hear him, everything is gonna be okay. It's like, hey man, don't worry about it. Everything is cool. He played everything perfect. There's no one thing that he played bad. And I appreciate that. But the thing about Bud for me is that he always had something new. Every recording, there is something that is different that he never played. Something that you could never imagine that you could do, and he shows you. And it's like, here you go. That's how you can do that. every recording of him. That's and the feeling, the way that he was connected to his to the emotion. Like you could play the same chord that make you feel, you know, very like depressed or very happy in the same, you know, with the same kind of chord. It just touches. It has every record is a different touch, a different feel, a different different. You can learn so much. And some people don't like his later stuff because of all his mental problem, all the electroshock. I feel like his coordination got a little worse, but I love those recordings because you can really feel that he wasn't 100%, but they couldn't take the music out of him. All the electroshock and everything that they did to him, they treat him like a rat, you know, like a lab rat. And you know, Alma Hop and Thelonious Monk said they would go see Bud in the hospital and they couldn't remember who he was, but he would sit at the piano and just, you know, still have that. So that's what really always got me from Bud, you know, and I feel like me and Barry had the same love for Bud. That's why as soon as we met, he became my grandfather, but also my friend, you know, because we shared the same love for the same music, you know. And,
dedication and passion.
Yeah, and I never seen anybody like Barry in my life, you know, that they had that kind of love for music. You could see him sitting at the piano 12 hours and just like loving everything that he does, you know, and never say like, oh, I'm tired, oh no, I have to do something. It's just like be there and tell you. You ask him thing for 8 hours, he would tell you everything. He would be like open book, you know, and he want everybody to learn something. He want everybody to. That's why his teaching system works for everybody, because it's so easy. Everybody can understand it, you know, and I love that because that's what music is for me. It's simple. That's something simple. You can make something very complicated, you know.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
And so that's my. You know, that's my inspiration. That's what I got from Barry. You know, Barry was always there. He always wanted to show you something. He always had something new to tell you. I've been playing guitar for 30 years.
Yeah,
that's a long time, and every day I say I love this. Because you have to, music is like wherever you are as a person, it goes into your music. So if you have a problem as a person, it goes into the music. So if you resolve that problem, the problem on the music resolves too, you know. And I think it's a great thing when music and you go together, because you always know that you're connected in a certain way. Some people they have music as a job, and it's a completely different between what they do during the day and what they play at night. You know, for me is I have to have a certain life to be a jazz musician.
Let me ask you another question. Just about, you wear a suit when you play.
Yeah.
You always wear a suit when you play. I almost expected you to have a suit on when I saw you, because
I didn't because I didn't know this was gonna be live.
No, I'm glad you have a t-shirt on. I'm very glad. But even when you were down there with my friend Barry Green.
Oh yeah.
You know, at a master class, you're wearing a suit. A lot of guys would come in and wear a polo.
I think it's when I perform, when I have a concert, I want to be in a uniform.
Sure.
And I want to feel. Also, no, I don't really care about that. Actually, erase that. I had never seen a video of Coleman Hawkins playing without a suit.
There you go.
Oh, Louis Armstrong, being clean, you know. I don't need that. Sometimes you don't need the tie, you know. But I want to look fresh. I want to look professional. I want to look that I belong where I'm, you know, that I'm giving people something. I can't go on stage with sneakers, you know. It doesn't work for me. I'm Italian, you know. My country is really there is a lot of fashion, and I always love suits, you know. Suits are when you know, it's just beautiful. It's a thing. You don't have to think about it. You put your suit, you're fine.
Yeah, right.
Comb your hair and you're fine.
But the reason I commented about it is it does show a level of professionalism that, you know, today, I mean, there's a lot of the guys in New York all wear suits when they perform.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the uniform, but you know, it's kind of what
Yeah.
in that area. Can you play a little something for us? A little,
Sure.
a little, maybe one of
I actually just learned this great Alma Hop song. I'm gonna show you.
All right.
And I'm gonna put the E string because it's in D minor.
All right.
And I decided that I wanted to try to do the left hand of Alma Hop. That is nice. That goes like, right?
Right.
And the song goes like this. It's called Star Over Marrakesh.
That's incredible.
It's a nice song.
No, I love it. I love you know, the juxtaposition of the bass pattern
Yeah.
and the harmony and then the melody on top of it. Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, that answers the question if you can walk and chew gum at the same time, or pat your head and rub your belly. You know, you got to get that going.
And then another one that I've been trying to work that is really hard that I can only play it. I used to play it, but I had different fingering and I didn't really like. So I tried to learn it again. Let's see if you catch it. You know that one, Chasing the Bird?
Yeah,
that's a
you
good
know,
one.
ladies and gentlemen, that is a reason why you should spend some time learning classical guitar.
Oh yeah,
Because that technique is all over. You know, that's not your standard jazz technique. That's lot going on. That's why you should spend a little. If you haven't spent time learning some classical pieces, that's the reason why you do it right there. That was incredible.
Oh yeah, it's very slow for now. It's supposed to be more fast, but
well, that's pretty damn good. So all right. So just so people can get an idea of your harmonic sense, okay? Can you play like "Smoke Gets in Your Eyes" or something like that, or one of those? I mean, pick one that's your favorite. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, I like that. Of course. that's so pretty. Oh, that's so pretty. So pretty. I love the way you use force.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I love the way you
Force is
use
cool.
force. That's so nice. It's
One
so
thing that I have to say that I've been trying. The guitar is a nice instrument. This guitar that I play, from Brian Trenier is one of my best friends for so many years. He knows the way I like to play. So
Sure.
when you play this guitar, it really sounds like a grand piano. And I have a nice one of my favorite guitars is a Gibson ES 125 Charlie Christian guitar.
Right, yeah.
Those guitar, I love playing them because the sound and their soul from the 40s. But I can't really play a lot of the stuff that I play on this guitar, because
Right.
this guitar is perfect. It's like in tune everywhere you on the fretboard, and it's easy in the same way to play here, and to play
Right.
here. Those old guitars, it's great to play here, And
No.
then after that, it's either there's no tuning or the sound is kind of weird. So I'm really glad that I know somebody that makes guitar because
It's this is a great time for guitar players to be around because
That's true.
there's so many good luthiers making great instruments.
The other one that I play, it's a little newer, but it's nice. Pretty.
That's the
too.
one with the maple top.
Yeah, that's with the maple top. So I can never decide which you want to play. So every time I have a gig, I keep putting one in the case, and then I'm like, I kind of want to play the other one, and then I keep, I switch between the two. But when I record, I bring both of them, and
What do you notice differently between the spruce top and the maple top?
well, this one is a little brighter. This guitar is a little brighter, but I really like the neck. The new necks that Brian makes. That he made for this guitar is really perfect for my hands, because this one is a little shorter scale, I think, and this one is, I think, normal scale. My hands are big, so
Yeah.
they work perfect. This one, when I go up here, the finger gets like bigger than the fret.
So put down the spruce top one and let me hear you play something on the maple
Oh, yeah.
top one.
Okay.
Just since we got you,
Yeah.
why not? And by the way, these guitars aren't even, you're not plugging them in. I mean, when they're
Oh
plugged
no,
in,
they're just acoustic.
that's
yeah.
acoustic. Yeah, when you plug them in, they sound amazing. They're
Oh,
great.
yeah, and I bought these pickups from the 40s. This is
The
a
foil,
DIY one.
the foil de-arming pickup, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds really really nice with some amps. With the new amp, I can never get the sound I like,
Right.
But I got this new amp from a vintage 47. I don't know if you ever.
No.
This is a copy of Charlie Christian amp.
Yeah. I love
And
it. I love
and-
the graphic of it. It looks
Yeah,
great.
it sounds really good, man. It sounds so clean, and it's one of my favorite amp right now.
Yeah.
Because I have all those old Gibson, but there's no woods. Everybody plays, all the drummers play so loud these days. You need power. You need. So this one is 50 watts. I can just play as loud as I can. If I play with a drummer that is loud, I just turn on, man. Before I used to be very sad. I didn't like to play strong, a volume, but then people always tell me like, man, we can't really hear you. We can just hear the drums. And I talked to Peter Bernstein about this, and I said, Peter, how do you deal with that, man? And he said, well, sometimes you have to compromise your ears to what people hear. So
Right.
you want here to hear you, and what you hear is gonna be terrible, but what they hear is gonna be better. That's why it's good to be in New York. I get to go and see Peter Bernstein, Chris Flory, Ed Cherry, all those great guitar players that they played the guitar for so long, and they're jazz guitar player.
Yeah.
I never got to see that. Only my teacher, there was New York guy, but to see Peter, Ed Cherry, Chris Flory, all those guys, not old guy, but the older in
Yeah, sure. I know what you mean.
me. And just the sound when they hit the guitar, the sound that comes out, man, you can only feel that if you're sitting there.
Right.
You can't hear now there's all live streaming, but you can't hear them, and
The dynamics, you don't hear
when
the
you're
dynamics.
there and you hear the sound that comes from the amp and the guitar, you're like, okay, that's how jazz guitar is supposed to sound. There's this other guitar player that doesn't play guitar anymore. William Ash is one of my favorite guitar players. He quit playing guitar. He plays bass now, but he played kind of like Wes Montgomery with his thumb.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the sound. He was playing a L7 with a knockout way, and one of those mini humbucker playing through a Fender amp, I remember, and he had like just the sound like Wes Montgomery's, and I was shocked because coming from Italy, electric guitar and classical guitar are very different instruments.
Oh, yes.
So everything. So I think I'm my idea of guitar is a little different than electric guitar because even the way I use the volume, and the tone control, I never touch it. That's why I put it there. Now that I've been trying with the tone again a little more, so I want to put this closer, maybe get a pick guard or something. When I play chord and I turn the tone control, I saw a video of Barney Castle actually, and I saw that he was doing that, and I was like, of course, this is so smart. Sometimes when you play chords and you have all your tone, the way that sounds good with single note, really muddy when you play chords because there's different notes. So what Barney Castle you see in this video just turns a little bit of the tone control off.
His controls were two different kinds of controls. One of them has a point on it, and one of them was round. So he knew he didn't have to look down to see what he was doing. He could feel which one it was.
Oh wow!
Yeah, Bruce Foreman owns that guitar now.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, we did a story on Bruce and that guitar. He's
yeah. This is another one that I like to see.
Yeah, he's out playing that guitar. That's his guitar now. That's what he played because he toured with Barney.
I know. Yeah.
Back in the day.
He told me about. He's one of my favorite person. He's such a great he's such a great guy, man.
He's a great guy. He's a great player. He's a great educator. He's just a great guy.
Yeah, so just like so happy, like a happy musician, somebody that enjoys playing music and play the guitar. You can see how much he cares about the guitar.
Sure.
And it's nice to see that because sometimes I see like the young people that they don't really have that kind of love. They just want to have gigs and make money. It's not their whole life. They don't depend on playing the guitar. For me, I wake up and I see the guitar. I'm like, I don't care about anything else. Sometimes, music is, some days it's harder to play and it feels weirder to play. But that's the beauty of music. That's just the way that we feel every day. It's not going to be the same. It's never the same feeling.
That's gorgeous. That is so pretty. Oh, that's so that's gorgeous. Hmm. That's just beautiful. That's absolutely stunning. So you have the new record coming out.
Yeah, the new record was nice actually. Also because I've been recording at the studio Sear Sound for all the records that I've been doing, and
Right.
so I got used to the place and that recording studio. I like it a lot, you know.
What's
So
the name of
whenever-
it now?
Sear Sound.
Okay.
It's on
Excellent.
48th Street, and it's nice to have you know, my manager Matt, that you probably
Sure.
know him, and
Yeah.
Matt, and the producer of the record, that is him. That you know, it's nice to have a person that you know, that manages you, and that helps you with music. Because when I'm in the studio, he doesn't. It's just in another room. He trusted all my. He trusts who I am as a musician. It's not, you know, you should do this and you should do
Right.
that. You know, maybe sometimes it's nice to hear. You know, it's like, oh, try a version in this way. You know,
Right.
but he lets me do wherever I want. That is a very trusting thing. You know, from a person like him with such a great background. You know, he produces most of the records in the 80s and the 90s. You know,
Sure.
Matt Pearson. You know,
So you got, it's a trio record with a couple of guest artists.
yeah,
And it's you know, you bass and drums.
yeah. Me, Ari, Roland, and Keith Balla is that the rhythm section I've been playing for 10 years.
Right. And the title of the record is
Bebop.
Bebop. Yeah, it's, I know the answer to the question, but I want to hear you say it. So yeah, Bebop. And
But for me, I have to say, I tell this. I think it's just a marketing
yeah,
way of it, because for me, I play music. I don't like to put myself in a certain. I know that for marketing and for, you know, the music I play, that was even in the 40s and 50s, it was called bebop. You know.
yeah.
So,
No, it. I mean, you've done a really nice job with this record. I mean, it's if you guys are, you know, want to hear some really fine bebop jazz guitar and a jazz trio, it's spectacular. And then you have a guest vocalist. Want to talk
Yeah.
about her a little bit?
yeah, Samara Joy. I call her the star of jazz, because
Yeah.
she's, you know, she has been singing for 5 years, and she's got
Yeah.
this voice that everybody's like, whoa, what's happening?
And
now,
she's
you
no
know?
stranger to your stage because you've worked with her a lot.
Oh yeah, you know, we're friends, and we love the way we have. I think it's hard to find, at least for me, in 10 years, I never really found
Yeah.
a connection with the singer, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But with me and her, since, you know, since I know her, she was like 16 years old.
Yeah.
17. We always had this. Whenever we played together, we had this great connection. There was
There's
immediate connection without knowing each other as
Yeah.
a person. And I never met. I have to say, like, before the music thing, you know, the thing about Samara is that she's such a great person. You know.
Yeah. Well, that takes.
She's, You
That's a
know,
good thing.
she's a great person, and all the travel that we did. I mean, sometimes we would do like weeks without stopping. She would sing her heart off every night. You know, she never complained about anything. You know, waking up at 6 in the morning, getting on the plane, go to the gig. I was the one that I was complaining. I'm like, I'm 33 years old. I'm complaining my ass off, and you didn't say one thing, and you're the star. I'm like, holy shit, this shit is. You know, it was amazing because, especially for a singer, you know, how
Yeah,
can a singer go on for 10 days without taking a break? You know,
yeah,
it's and also like if you sleep 4 or 5 hours a night, for me it's okay because I'm moving my hands. I don't have
right,
to sing. But for her, she's got this energy, man. It's really unbelievable, and she transmits that to you.
right.
You know, if you're tired and you sing with her, you're like you feel this. You're like, oh yeah, that's it. It's great. I love playing with her. She's one of my favorite. One of my favorite.
Excellent. So, what any gigs coming up of interest that you
Oh
want to
yeah,
talk about?
we have three big tours to do.
All right, where are you
Uh,
going?
Midwest, Milwaukee, and Detroit, and Chicago.
Hmm.
We already been there, but second time we go. And then in the South, I think in California, we're gonna go all over the U.S. And then we're going to Italy. We're playing
Oh, wow.
Umbria Jazz for a week in the summer. So I'm very excited about that because I get to see my family for a week. You know,
That's great.
they're gonna come there. Usually when I go to Italy, I just don't even. I have a guitar there, but I just stay 10 days with my parents.
Listen, that's about it for today.
Great.
We've been at this over an hour, which amazes me because usually I'm going, oh, when is it going? But this is great. I feel like we're just getting started.
Yeah.
So, but this is great, and I wish you a lot of luck with Bebop. It's a great record for those of you out there. It's a great record. Check it out. It's in all the usual, June 24th. It'll be in all the usual places you get your music streamed or whatever. And if you get to New York City, you're always around town. I mean, people can find
Yeah,
you.
I'm playing every Monday night from 10:30 to 1 o'clock at Mesro.
Yeah,
And anyways, that's the only thing I do. I put my gigs on social media. So if somebody wants
right.
to know,
Nothing wrong
wants
with
to know
that.
where I play,
Pasquale, thank you so much. Bob
thanks,
Bakert
Bob.
for Jazz Guitar Today with Pasquale Grasso. Check him out. If you don't know who he is, shame on you. Check out his videos. Check him out on YouTube. Buy his records. Go to his shows and support this guy. He's freaking worth it. Great stuff, man. See you, buddy.
Grazie.
All
Ciao,
right.
ciao.
Bye-bye now.